viewers and a brofist to you all! I hope everything is running well with the stream. If it is not, tell me immediately. Because quite frankly, there's a lot of snot going on with my PC. I've been doing so much fucking work with my PC today that is in fact a little bit unhappy. My PC's unhappy. PCs get unhappy, and I don't like that. My PC's unhappy. Yes, I've returned temporarily to the old setup. It was done in the last 20 minutes. I literally had to just drag everything over to here. I haven't had time to put the brofist up or anything like that. The final setup of this will come when we get our new equipment, such as the capture card, so we can broadcast in 1080, and the lighting. You guys weren't big on getting the green screen back. And many of you maybe even don't know what I did with the green screen in the past, which was more of like I was green screened into the videos and talking to you. It's something I very much enjoyed doing myself, because I then feel like I'm talking to an audience more than talking to a microphone. But you guys weren't all thumbs up for that being returned as a priority. So we've left that behind, and Ghost was the first one to say it isn't really worth it yet until we get a proper green screen. Because it's, although the actual screen is awesome, the actual green screen, it's just this room is just terrible in every single possible fucking way. It's awful, awful, awful. I don't know what's going on with the intro. The intro isn't working. But anyway, it's Wednesday. It's reset day. It's life reset day. And lots to talk about. Blizzard went on Reddit. Blizzard went on Reddit. Blizzard went on Reddit and started talking a lot of smack. A lot of jazz coming at you guys. Very happy with the replies from yesterday. On yesterday's daily. Yes, I'm surprised how many of you were excited that it ran on for an hour. Because you seem to have very long school rides and work rides and all that kind of stuff. Which is awesome that I can entertain your morning. I do want them to be up that early. I know a lot of you are from the UK who watch us live, and I try and time the daily to upload to YouTube for the UK guys to be there around 7 AM, something like that, so you guys can catch that as you go to work, and it, you know, it stimulates your morning with a big fucking brofist. I love that. I think that's awesome. Got a few things to talk about today. We're obviously going to talk about what Blizzard said on Reddit. We're also going to talk a few things about re-rolling and stuff like that, and then I'm going to prepare you for the next videos. And the video just went up. Now, the video that just went up is something that took me 3 days to make. It really was the most pain-in-the-ass video I've made in quite a long time, probably since the Problems in the Mist video. I try and get a video out at least one a day, from start filming to finish. Usually it runs into 2 days, but that's okay. Finding people that weren't just abominably bad in the old heroics is so hard. My god. I mean, literally, the arguments I've seen from hunters arguing over leather. I had to do the Throne of Tides dungeon no less than 16 times to get those clips, which seems bizarre. I had to do it 16 times because of various issues, especially while looking for a normal tank to pull from a DPS perspective. This meant that not only were all my tanks saved, obviously. The original plan for that video was actually I was going to show you each class doing it wrong and then each class doing it correctly. But that was just going to be really boring, watching the same pull over and over again. So I just moved that footage away. But that was 8 runs alone. I then wanted some pickpocket information from Throne of Tides, because Throne of Tides is one of the awesome instances. It's really, really good. Those bosses are really well designed. They're all interesting. They're all fun. I really like them. Besides that General Vezax Zonos looking dude. He's boring. But the rest of them are really clever. There's some ads going on. There's water spouts. People still die to those fights, which I thought was fucking crazy. But yeah, a lot of people die to those bosses and just don't know how to deal with it. Mind control stuff, especially if you go to the 4th boss. How many people have never done the 4th boss because you might have joined late in Cataclysm? The 4th boss is awesome, but what's even better is the trash leading to the 4th boss. Even in my gear, that trash fucking still hurts so bad. Them little goblin hunters, boom! Look at that, it's like 3D. Whoosh, boom! Those fuckers really hurt, and they still really hurt. I almost died, and I was like, wow. I remember doing that trash was pure line of sight stuff. You had to pull them and hide behind a corner with the whole party to get people to come round, because they could one-shot a tank pretty easy, all those little goblin dudes. And you've got the mobs that stomp you and slam you. Why they decided to put some of the most interesting trash in that dungeon, in the optional boss passageway, beyond me. But they did. So I wanted some clips of that, so now we're up to 9 runs. Now I need the clip of a normal tank pulling that individual trash pack. If you haven't watched that video yet, go ahead and watch it and you'll know what I'm talking about. It's a specific trash pack, which is something that symbolizes one of the most difficult pulls you'll find in Mists of Pandaria. It's nothing to do with Throne of Tides specifically. But of course, we're in patch 5.04. Throne of Tides Heroic is from way, way back. And we have all new talents and stuff. All that seems to have happened is people who are generally egomaniacs, I would like to say, who really want a huge ego boost, seem to be swarming the old heroics and making life a misery for people who are actually trying to gear up in there. Not everybody could just go to the auction house and buy a ton of gear, PvP gear or whatever, to get the item level to go straight into the end heroics. What you have is people who don't have much gold, are maybe still learning the class, or maybe new to the game, and they're sort of milling around in these heroics, actually after gear. Like I say, a lot of hunters arguing over leather, tank trinkets being taken by rogues, all that kind of shit goes on in Throne of the Tides. Not in Throne of the Tides, in those old heroics. And of course, everybody leaves Deadmines, which is really sad, because Deadmines Heroic is a fantastic instance. Even though it's a remake, I would easily have reviewed that at 7 out of 10 if I was doing my channel then. Deadmines Heroic is fantastic. So, in Throne of Tides, I rolled on my hunter, and I was a gangster. My hunter is obviously hugely overgeared for Throne of the Tides, so I was just misdirecting the tank and I was just demolishing the trash all the way through it, to the point where I goofed. The warrior, for some reason, was in full looking for raid gear, so he decided he would go Fury round about halfway through the dungeon. Before we got to the trash back I wanted to cover, he went Fury, and he went in and he was doing about 40-45k DPS. So on the trash pull in question I was trying to show the tank, he just dived in and slaughtered it all before I could do anything. Next one was a Frost DK who was tanking for some reason. I think they're just stroking their EP, but he was going around just howling blast, spamming everything. Again, I couldn't show any of it, and that used up my... what class was that? My Rogue. That used my Rogue up. Ultimately, I ran out of classes, and I went to my Shadow Priest again the next day, because Shadow Priests are really fun. I'm having fun on all my classes right now. I hope you guys are having a lot of fun. One of the great things about having every class is you can just test things out. One class I'm not having fun on is my Moonkin. I'm not having much fun on my Moonkin. Any Moonkins in the chat? Good lot of people in the chat. I'm not having much fun on my Moonkin. I don't like that new Moonfire Sunfire thing. That wasn't in the game when I covered them in beta. I was the Moonfire Sunfire being different spells was not in the beta. That wasn't what it was. It was just Moonfire that changed to Sunfire and back to Moonfire when you hit the other thing. So I was completely baffled. I logged onto my Moonkin and I had Moonfire while I was in Solar Eclipse. While I was queuing up, I was just doing some DPS on the dummy, and I noticed when I hit Solar Eclipse, I still had Moonfire. So I was like, what the fuck's going... Where's Sunfire? They removed Sunfire? I was like, wow, this is like something I need to get out there to the world. It's like, guys, do you know they removed Sunfire? You know, I need to spread the word immediately. Like, oh my god, Sunfire's gone. And then I checked my spellbook, and lo and behold, there's Sunfire. So I was like, oh, we have Moonfire and Sunfire now. Why? Why not just bring back Insect Swarm? Insect Swarm is miles more interesting than having Moonfire and Sunfire. So I was playing with that. I'm just having a look here. You likes his Moonkin? Oh, you guys are happy with it? I have fun with my Moonkin. Good. That's cool. That's cool. As long as you guys are having fun. I did some stuff with it, and the DPS is there. DPS is fine. It was just more a case of Moonfire and Sunfire. I'd rather just have Insect Swarm back. But I can see the point with Insect Swarm being nature damage and so on and so forth. Blah, blah, blah. Boring stuff. Anyway, so 16 runs of the Throne of Tides until I finally found a tank that was trying to tank. How hard is that? That's how long it took me to find a tank that was trying to tank. That's all I wanted, was a tank who was trying to tank. And he did what I was after. Unfortunately, they're still pulling like 40k DPS. Which brings me on to the topic of healer-themed week. You guys all said in the YouTube daily, if you do want to have your opinion read, it's recommended that you do it fast and watch the videos when they come out so you can get your voice in. But of course, you guys voted for healers. Healer, healer, healer week. And I've been pondering all day how I can do something healer-related that relates to Mists of Pandaria. With tanking, it's not too difficult. It's more about position, control, stuff like that. The overall DPS isn't that important while showing you the techniques. But with healing, it is. If things die too quickly, the healing is less important. If tanks take less damage, the healing is less important. So what could I do? What could the Preach conjure up to make sure I can show you some relevant stuff in today's content? One idea would be to just do stuff on Mists of Pandaria beta with my friends, with level 90 stuff. That's okay, I guess. But it's not something you can relate to very easily. You would relate that more than most people do to a guide about a new heroic. You should heal it in this fashion. And that's not what I want to educate you about. That's not what I want to teach you. I want to teach you how to deal with things. Instead of saying, oh, well, he did it in this heroic, what about this heroic? I hate that question when I'm trying to do a technique or a method or something like that. I want you to be able to apply it in all situations. So I thought I will speak to my friends, and I've sent a couple of messages out, a couple of feelers. Can I get the team down to an appropriate item level where they are below the item level to queue for a heroic? Widespread, no gear with gems, no gear with enchants, all stuff you will have while leveling. And I think that's what I'm going to try and do. I'm trying to convince those to do it. I've spoke to a couple of healers. I'm still waiting for a couple of replies who are going to talk to me because I'm not an experienced healer. Last time I was an experienced healer was Vanilla. So let's talk to the healers and see if we can get them involved in a couple of videos for you guys so you can see their perspectives. As all of them have leveled on beta and have all level 90 and raided and so on. So their perspective is really interesting to me as well as hopefully you guys as well. So we're going to try and do something with very ridiculous item level across the party. We've all seen the video of me, or hopefully you've all seen the video of me heal something modern day where my healer is just in low gear. But that still takes into account that people are generally overgeared for the heroics. The DPS generally is quite good, the tanks are quite good. But what about if everybody's got low gear? So the DPS isn't the big issue. The tanking certainly isn't the issue. Let's mix all that together and see if we can put something together in an instance you can equate it to. I'm actually thinking one of the ZG instances, because the ZG instances are incredibly more difficult than the end time heroics. The end time heroics are retardedly easy. The Zul'Gurub heroics are still more difficult, I think. So we might try something out like that, see what we can conjure up for you guys. And that should be quite a lot of fun. So healer theme week is coming. Couple of things before we jump into today's mass topics is the voting is open. I put the forum up this morning. I wasn't clear on all the categories, but the voting is now open for the awards ceremony that is taking place on Saturday. So you have 4 days. Go and vote for all your stuff that you think deserves an award for Cataclysm. That you think is worth mentioning, think is worthwhile, and of course the things that are bad. That forum is open on preachgaming.com. You can go and check that out. Leave your thoughts, vote on any category. You don't have to vote on all the categories, just leave your thoughts on any categories you are interested in. Go and put your things down there. That's all open for you guys now. The transmog competition, you guys, the transmog competition. We asked you to submit to us a screenshot of your transmog, because a lot of you work hard on your transmogs and you think they're pretty cool. Oh, there was one rule. One rule. Just the one. One rule. The screenshot had to be of your character select screen. We didn't mind if you blurred out your other characters, of course. We just wanted a picture of the character you were submitting. That was all we asked. It's just your character select screen. So many of you have submitted screenshots of you on hills, riding your bikes, in some fucking beautiful landscape. And some of you like, even bothered to go into the game and took a picture of yourself in like the Barrens. This is like the most boring landscape ever. I especially like the transmog photographs of you guys, which is really zoomed out, so we can't actually see your character. I think that's the best, guys. That's the best. If you zoom out so far, your character is like in the distance, and you want us to rate your transmog. There will be a prize and stuff for that. There will be a prize going on. So please, if you have submitted to me a screenshot and it is not of your character select screen, so it's in glorious, fully rendered 3D, that's why your character looks its best on the character select screen. That's why. Please resubmit it. Please. Otherwise, you just won't count. Your screenshot just won't count. You're not in the prize run or anything like that, and you won't get a mention. Awesome. Good. Okay, let's move on to today's stuff. Couple of questions that came in around re-rolling. I've spoke quite heavily about re-rolling. Change of Expansion is a great time to re-roll because it allows guilds time to find replacements. People are leaving, they're quitting the game. All that kind of shit is going on. So re-rolling is pretty cool. Now, emails that are flying in is shoulda, woulda, coulda. A lot of people like affirmation. That what they're doing is the correct thing to do. I'm not here to do that in general. I've done that in the past. You can check previous dailies for that. But I am interested in people who are switching to characters that they have no experience on. I'll give you an example. This came in from Floris. Floris, hey, preach. Yo, Floris. I'm playing a semi-hardcore 25-man guild, and I'm planning on re-rolling from mage to rogue in Mr. Pandaria. The problem is that I don't have any rogue caps yet, and I have no raiding experience whatsoever on my rogue. I'm pretty bored of my mage, and the only part of Mr. Pandaria I'm not looking forward to is the raiding. But on the other side, I have a feeling things might go horrifically wrong if I go straight into a 25 heroic with a class I have very little experience on. What do you think I should do? Why a rogue? Why a rogue? That has to be the question, doesn't it? That has to be the question here. And there's many other emails that are very similar to this. People have seen a class from a distance, or watched me play it and thought, that looks awesome. I want to be a part of that. What happens is people tend to get these classes and like, I really don't like this. Especially swapping from a ranged to a melee is quite a big leap. There's a lot of advantages of being ranged that you do not get as melee. It's almost a completely different playstyle. Some people can adapt and switch quite quickly, and that's fine. But other people have a real struggle dealing with the change of ranged, where things are relatively nice, open, clear view, to melee, which in oftentimes is a clusterfuck of crap going on all over your screen. You're having to move around to get into range. There's a lot more movement and stuff involved that you're just generally not used to if you've been on a mage. Now, regardless of that switch, again, I have to ask, why are you switching to a class that you have no experience with? How do you know you will enjoy it? It's a big commitment re-rolling, because if you're in a semi-hardcore 25-man guild, they probably won't be happy if you re-roll. One, suck at the class because of the transition that we just spoke about. And secondly, you generally just say, I don't enjoy it after a couple of months. I miss my mage. What are you going to do there? I can't advise you on this because it's a bizarre situation. You haven't even... If someone came to me at the very end of an expansion, we're just about to start. We're only a few weeks away now, 2 weeks or something like that away from Mists of Pandaria. And they say to me, I want to switch to a class that I don't have a level 85 of. I have never raided on. Can I do it, please? I'm like, why would you do that? That seems so bizarre. Surely you should cap it and do some raiding on it. But even now, the time is so short that you're probably going to really enjoy it because it's different. You're going to really enjoy it because it's different. And being different can sometimes be a hell of a lot of fun, and then things settle in and it's actually not that fun at all. So I don't know how to advise you guys who are looking to switch to a class you haven't really had an experience on. If you're basing that decision entirely off visual evidence, such as videos like mine or videos of somebody else kicking ass and pwning noobs, I would say no. I'd say that's a bad decision to make. I would say level that as an alt in Mists of Pandaria, make your guild aware that you want to switch, and you'll equally gear both of them for the first few weeks while you try them out, and then maybe we can go somewhere with that. But as for, can I just make the switch today? If you're a long-time member of that guild and they're good friends and they like you, then maybe they'll just let you have a go at it. But for your own personal thing, I'm very wary of someone switching to a class they've never really played before. They just lack that experience. And if you're going to be jumping into 25 heroics, you not only want people who can play the class, and can do the rotations, and can do the spells. You want the guy who's going to push it to that little bit extra. Going to do things like that snap vanish, that snap shadow step kidney shot with a redirect. All that kind of shit that comes in really handy in 25 progress. I don't know. I don't know. I would say I can't really advise you on that without knowing your reasons for the rogue. I really can't. Okay, let's jump in too quickly. We've got to talk about this. Is Blizzard going on Reddit? Blizzard are being very open. We spoke about this yesterday, the whole Twitter thing. Now they're on Reddit. This is all to boost marketing for Mists of Pandaria. This is all it is. This is to get people talking about it, to spread the word that Mists of Pandaria is looking pretty cool, to get things involved. Blizzard are doing this, Blizzard are doing that. But before we touch on that, it's very important that we notice that a big thing was announced today concerning screenshots, and it's been in the game since the initial thing, and this might scare some of you if you haven't read this. There is a code embedded, apparently, in every single WoW screenshot you ever take. And it has been since vanilla. Now, somebody has cracked this code. And this code is your account name. It's pretty scary. It's got your account name. It's got the IP of the server you are on. A timestamp of when that screenshot was taken. All these fucking information is embedded in your screenshots. I did not know this until today. It's an article I read earlier. I'm going to post it in the live chat now so you guys know what I'm talking about. But this is entirely true. It's entirely true. I'm posting an article there. It's on rockpapershotgun.com. A great source of gaming news. Anything I read on there that I feel is important. There's many other sources as what I relay back to you. Now, Blizzard, this was discovered. A few people have tried this out, tested this code out, and it is accurate. This code is embedded inside your screenshots, and it's visually there. The problem is, of course, your screenshots go all around the world. I'm asking for you for your screenshots right now. Hell, this shit happens. I could be the super serious hacker who's after all your information and account names and stuff. So this actually means that people who can read this code know your account name, because it's public knowledge now, especially if you've uploaded it to a forum and stuff like that. Little bit fucking scary. Blizzard has said it's not against their terms of service to do this. Their reasoning behind it is private servers. Private servers still use the game code, but they don't connect to the Blizzard servers. So what they want to do is people who take stupid screenshots of very stupid bugs or anything like that, and they post them on the forums like, guys, look at this, it's fucking stupid, you know what I mean? I crit this guy for 200,000k or some stupid shit. Is that they can see the timestamp of the Blizzard private server, and then they're very effectively able to shut the fucker down pretty quickly. A lot of WoW private servers get stomped pretty fast, especially if they're online stuff. So this is why the screenshots are revealing the IP addresses of the servers and the account names involved in this kind of stuff. Pretty scary. They say this is not what's needed to get your account hacked. However, they have not denied that this is part of the way of getting to hack your account. The problem is, of course, this stuff is widespread. So be a little bit careful where you're posting your screenshots. But you can get over paranoid about this kind of stuff. Your account name isn't what's needed to hack your account. It isn't. It helps in one regard, is that's a piece of information people don't need to find out, but they still need to find out a password and probably an authenticator. And if you've got any sense, you're changing your password every couple of weeks anyway, like I do. Every 14 days, a little alarm goes off on my phone and says change your passwords, and I change them all. It takes about 10 minutes to change all my relative passwords. So yeah, a little bit scary that that information is buried in the WoW screenshots. I had no idea it was there, but it is. It's there. It is. Okay, let's talk about what Blizzard talked about in the Reddit Q&A. Model updates and new animations are a high priority. How can they not be? It's been the same since vanilla for most of them. And if you look at the monk animations, they're glorious. The monk animations are absolutely fantastic. One big thing I noticed there was Activision has no effect on the game's direction. We talked about this when Blizzard is up for sale, and it still is up for sale. Activision are trying to offload it. But we said we hoped that Blizzard were very, very clever, and I'm sure they were. That yes, we own Activision, Blizzard, blah, 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 but that you have no creative input whatsoever into the game. I always think that's a lie. They say Activision has no effect on the game's direction. If their shareholders are not getting their money's worth from World of Warcraft or Blizzard, then they will have some effect. They have that right, as it's the fact that it's their money, ultimately. So at the moment, I would say that that answer is, some people were like talking to me in games saying, aren't you happy that Activision have no effect on the game? The answer is, right now they don't have an effect because they've no need to. Blizzard's still very, very profitable. But we're talking about a company that wants to sell it as well. If they necessarily needed to get more money out of it, they would have an effect. I'm sure they would. But at the moment, everything's pretty cool. Observer modes are on the to-do list. Care. Combat ratios will improve for classes that lack them. Yeah, right. I say yeah, right to that and pass it off because they could never make the ratios too good. They can't. It's caused so many problems in the past. The fact that Worgen Sprint was slightly faster than it is now was a huge problem during the launch of Cataclysm, because guilds were just openly saying they're going to re-roll Alliance just to be Worgens, to have Darkflight, because it's too good. So they can never make combat ratios too good. I quite like the new Undead one. It's not overpowered, it's not underpowered, it's quite nice, it's there. You don't really notice it, it's not something you think about. PvE, the plan is for more content to be released faster than before to keep players engaged with relevant content and not get bored. How many times have we heard this? Come on, man! We hear this all the fucking time. I've heard this for the last 3 expansions. Well, we're going to release content much quicker. You still haven't. Still haven't. Really haven't. And Dragon Soul is old as balls. That's the Dragon Soul's nuts. Deathwing's nuts are so saggy now. They're all over the floor. They're in your bowl of soup. It's a fucking mess. Come on, don't keep telling us that. The plan is, I'm sure the plan is to release content faster. I'm sure that is the plan. That plan never seems to come together. I'm sure the plan for player housing is also there as well. Cool. I'm not slating everything that Blizzard said in this Reddit. Some of it's quite cool. I am interested that that we said yesterday about 25-man raiding. It's going to be our topic for Friday. Blizzard is not satisfied with the current status of 25-player raids and is still actively seeking a solution. 15-man. I'm pretty fucking sure. Again, I don't want to shit on everything that came out of this Reddit, but it seemed like a lot of everything's going to get better, guys, by Mists of Pandaria. You've got to take this stuff with a pinch of salt. A big developer Q&A just before Mists of Pandaria comes out is always going to be aces! Everything's super positive. Woo! Jump around. Awesomeness is coming, guys. We promise. All that kind of stuff. When they say they're still actively seeking a solution, I'm pretty sure, in my opinion anyway, that the solution is not to change the way loot works for 25 and 10 players, although they might do that out of pure lack of ideas. It's just to abolish it, really. It's just to get rid of it. They don't want to do. Of course not. If you're working on a project, you don't want to do it twice every time you do something. You've come up with this really amazing boss. You don't want to tweak everything twice to accommodate 10 and 25 players. 10's got a problem. We have to change that. No, 25's got a problem now because we changed that. Oh, we just want to condense it down to 1. I want to do it once and do it really well. I would much rather have just 25 or just 15 player. Or just 40 player. 40 player was so fucking good. Just give us 40 player back, please. Raid Finder and Scenarios will hopefully make it down to lower level content. Upon asking about another raid like Ulduar, in fact, our next raid zone after these might be right up your alley. So we're going to get a large raid zone again, which is cool. That actually really excited me. That was really good news to see, is that they're building a huge temple in some fashion. Where is it? Is what I want to know, because I've explored a lot of nook and crannies in Mists of Pandaria's beta, and I don't know where it is. The sunlight again? Are you fucking kidding me? Are you joking me? Oh my god. Oh! How can this be? How? I've moved! How can this be? Oh, so mad. It's following. It is following me. I don't understand how this can fucking happen. I'm staying over here. I've moved everything in the room to make that not happen. Everything. Fucking thing. Fuck off, sunlight. It's dark. Oh, bring on winter. Bring on winter. Ah. Right, I'm staying over here. I'm staying over here. The blanket doesn't... If you could see the set... There's a reason I'm not using the simple solution of trying to block out the sun with a blanket. It's because of the way it's designed. It's not going to work. Believe me, this is the most troll-faced window in the history of mankind. I hate you. I hate you, hate you, hate you. There is nowhere in this room that works. You can't tuck anything above it. I would literally have to like nail something into the wall to make this work. Ugh. Right, I'm staying over here. I'm staying over here, that's what I'm going to do. So we're going to get a big Ulduar that has like hard mode toggles and stuff. I hope they don't try and recreate Ulduar. Ulduar is very special in a lot of people's hearts. Is in mine. I had a great time in Ulduar. Some of it was too hard, some of it was too easy. We've no doubt about that. Yogg-Saron Zero was a pain in the ass. Firefighter was a pain in the ass. As much as a certain guild likes to claim it was the best fight ever because they got the world first. Not to mock them, but it was just a pain in the ass, that fight. So balls. Great design. Slightly too difficult. It was. No doubt about that. There's this cross-realm zone thing. What are you guys thinking about that? I actually was really excited about cross-realm zones. What this means is you can group up with your friends across real ID. We're not too far away from getting rid of all sorts of server restrictions completely. I was really excited about this. I was, but apparently it's not working properly. How is it going to work? PvP and PvEers were moaning that we're going to get ganks and stuff like that and all that kind of shit. I don't know. I think it's a good idea. I don't think it's necessary. I kind of accept the fact that I'm on a different server. They're trying to homogenize it and blur it out across everyone. This sucks. They hate it. I like it. Don't like it. It's pretty cool. A lot of world PvP. I hate it. Cross-realm isn't great. Open zone, memory on hard mode. Oh, you're talking about memory on hard mode. Okay. Doesn't... Except for your gatherers. Yeah, interesting. Interesting. It's annoying. People farm my rares and you can't fly with a two-person mount across the line, and the second person DCs and gets mismounted and dies. Oh, very all sorts of stuff going on there. Not even sure what you're talking about. Basically, if you've got a friend on Real ID who's on a different server, you can invite them and you can level together. That's the whole idea behind it. Seems to be a lot of reliance with stuff like Cross-Realm Zones on not making new friends in new servers. That's the only thing that I have a little condition with. As much as I love it, because all my characters are spread across 4 different realms now, and my friends are all on different realms. It's actually really cool for me. From a selfish point of view, I think it's fine. I think we're just moving so far away from having a community on the server, and I miss that. I miss that community on the server. But a lot of you might not even know about stuff about communities on the server. So probably fine. Probably fine. They've nerfed the experience again on Mr. Pandaria leveling, so it's now easier again. One thing they tried to do, this is one of my main things I wanted to talk about today, is so many people dislike questing. A lot of people tell me they hate questing. They hate it in all kinds of fashions. Don't like questing whatsoever. They're tightening the leveling limits, so you literally pretty much have to complete the full zone to get a level. That's what they're trying to tweak it around. What we saw in Cataclysm was 2 zones to start with, Vashj'ir and Hyjal. You had to nowhere near complete either of those zones to get level 82. You could go from 80 to 82 just in Vashj'ir and only do half of it. You could do the same in Hyjal. You never had to finish the full storyline of Hyjal or Vashj'ir in order to get level 82. What I used to do was do a bit of both. You could actually get the friendly reputation with Hyjal, the Guardians of Hyjal, within the first sort of 10 quests, and then go and do Vashj'ir for about an hour or so, and you'd be level 82, mixed in with the dungeons and stuff. What they're doing now is saying, well, you'll have to complete, say, Vashj'ir almost completely to get level 81. Then you'll move to somewhere like Hyjal, and you'll have to complete nearly the whole zone to get 82. Deepholm, you'll have to do the whole zone to get 83, blah, 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 and so on and so forth. I don't think a lot of people are going to be happy if that is the case, because instance XP is garbage. I think that's quite a negative approach to take. If people enjoy questing, I don't see why there's a lot of questing in there. But maybe 3/4 of a zone is fine. A little over half a zone to get the level and then move on. I think is okay. I think that's good stuff. That gives people the option to go back and have something to do in between raiding and looking for raid and 5-man heroics and all that kind of stuff. Is go and explore the lands. Gives people a lot to talk about. I had a huge discussion with loads of people about going and doing Uldum. A lot of people skipped Uldum, especially while power leveling, because Uldum was notoriously slow for leveling. But I went back and did it all and loved it and told lots of people to do it. And on my alts, I'd make sure they were level 84 or 83, whichever Uldum was, 83 I think. And I would team up with them, and then I'd go do the whole zone again, because I had a fantastic time in Uldum. I'm just a little bit worried about that. I don't know. I don't think it's right to force people to do the whole zone. Some people have such different methods of leveling that making them essentially complete the whole zone to do to get a level, that feels like a grind. It feels a little bit like a grind. I had to do that in a couple of zones in Mr. Pandaria. I think I basically made it to the end of Kunlai Summit to get level 84. No, what was I saying? 89. And then moved on into the final zone for 89 to 90. And I nearly finished the zone. I actually ran out of quests at one point because of so many quests bugged, and then had to move to the other zone. I don't think it's right to force people to do the whole zone. I really don't. But all this information is pretty cool, so we're going to take the most of it. They're not really going to be doing much with class quests, which is a shame. We spoke about this, didn't we? We wanted people to have class quests. The Hunter quest is fantastic. The original one in Vanilla, really good. People still tell me how much they enjoyed it today. The Priest quest I did, the Benediction quest, was fucking awesome. It was so cool. Going off and doing your own thing outside of raids, a big chain. They're saying they're going to bring back some achievements and all that kind of stuff. And that's really cool. I'm sure our friend Just Wait, our resident hero, did the Hunter quest, I would assume in Vanilla, and really enjoyed it too, I would have thought, to get his bow and stave. You got a bonus stave, I believe. Death Knight quests are depressing. I love the Death Knight quests. What they are saying is they're going to bring back a lot more cutscenes, like the Wrathgate cutscene and shit like that, which is cool. There's no problem, as long as there's not too many. That'd be awesome. Okay, I'm going to take your questions for today. I'm doing a very quick one today. Let's say quick, 34 minutes. I'm doing a very quick one purely on the basis that I'm going to do another video for you tonight, which I'm looking forward to. Look at all the transmog shit coming through. Oh my god. You guys are spamming your transmog. I love it. I love it. I love it. Any questions for me today? Preach, I know you hate how Rage works currently. I was wondering if you could redesign the Rage system. What would you do? Scrap it altogether? I would scrap it. I would scrap Rage. Rage is just such a pain in the ass. It is. It's so awkward to balance. And this is why warriors have always had a balance issue at the beginning of expansions and at the end of expansions. The balance, the way rage works is just negatively impacting the game. After playing a lot of prop paladin today, I even more hate the rage system. I really do, because prop paladins naturally gain their defensive buffs from just playing their character using Shield of the Righteous. And that really pisses me off when shield block is so fucking expensive and I have to prepare to use a shield block. Especially as you can get 5 holy power now. The fact that I have to literally just do like 3 or 4 shield slams and nothing else that isn't super cheap in order to shield block, that's too fucking long. It's far too long. It really is, in order to build up to that situation where I can use shield block. A defensive cooldown. I need my oh shit buttons when I get in shit, not 5 seconds down the line. With 5 holy power, I can keep 2 holy power banked, which is what I was doing on my prop paladin. I was keeping 2 holy power banked. I hit 5, I use my shield, I get my defensive cooldown go anyway, whereas on my warrior I'm generally skipping it. And if I was in an oh shit moment, 1 Judgment, 1 Crusader Strike, or 1 Hammer of the Righteous, and I was there. Shield of the Righteous was up, my defensive cooldown was naturally up again. I really, really dislike Rage, and the Rage system needs scrapping. It really does. Why is every new resource system nothing like Rage? They're all based around energy. It's just really frustrating, especially from a protection point of view. I really just dislike the way things cost X amount and you generate it in such an arbitrary fashion without preparing for it. Yeah, prop pally for the win. Yeah, I know what the 4-set bonus does, but a 4-set bonus it's not the point. This is when you're going to get a 4-set bonus after when you most need that cooldown regularly, which is 5-man heroics. Now, luckily, the heroics are really easy, but it's really not the point that you don't have access to your abilities without having to do a mass amount of boring setup. Regardless of what anything else does to that spell, the fact is, in order to get to the rage necessary to use shield block, you have to do stupid things like not play your class properly. That's really sad. It's just not the way it should fucking work. Breach, I'm in a 10-man guild that would like me to switch from Hunter for the expansion to one of 3 classes. Why? Shadow Priest, Ellie Shaman, or Balanced Druid for the haste buff. What do you think would be the best for the raid com? They're asking you to switch? Or have you volunteered? Answer me that first. Are they asking you to switch or have you volunteered? In your Fury video, you went with a hit build. We were testing, me and Deco were testing 2 different ways of playing Fury. I went for exceptional amounts of hit with a Titan's Grip build, that was all. Just to see exactly how much white damage was proportionally coming out compared to certain specials. And he went with a different build, and we just compared the 2. It was just testing stuff. That was all that was. It was an innocuous comment. It was nothing to read into particularly. That was before we had any sort of testing, or Lansol had spent weeks of his life dribbling over a spreadsheet. It was just us testing stuff, that's all. It's just us testing things out in the early days of beta. Rage Fury was nothing like what it is now, remember, when we were testing that kind of stuff out. It was pretty different. What do you think about threat generation on the Demonic Hunter form of Demo Warlocks? I wish it didn't exist, because I don't want to talk about anything to do with tanking Warlocks. I'm sure, right? I'm sure at some point someone will tank a heroic on a Warlock and probably do it very early on. I'm sure there are certain Warlocks out there who are primed to do that, to prove some sort of point that Warlocks can do this. That's fine, yeah, if you want to do that. Ultimately, you're never going to be able to tank to queue as a tank as a Warlock. It's not going to happen. The fact that it's in there, I hope, is for some boss, but I have yet to see a boss that needs it. When I saw that come back, I thought, oh, they're returning to Warlock tanking, which we've seen in every other expansion, which is cool. I Warlock tank a few times for different things. I tanked Mimiron, I tanked Leothras the Blind, I tanked Socrathar, I tanked the Twin Emperors on a Warlock, playing other people's accounts. I did all those things, and they were great fun. The problem is, too much of the population goes, ooh, we're going to get to tank raids, and we're going to get to tank bosses and stuff like that. It's not really what it's for. I wish it would have been more specific. I preferred that when spells just said they have a particular high threat generation, like Searing Pain used to. Without actually openly stating it, they gave Warlocks an ability to tank, instead of saying, do this and you get naturally higher threat generation. I assume the idea is for fun. I would have preferred just a spell like Searing Pain just to have its threat generation unmodified. I would really like that. If you can bring back Hunter tanking, oh, I'm missing Darthilian's response. Did he reply? Did he reply? No, I don't think so. Nope. Why do you get 8 hot dog buns and only 7 hot dogs? So you buy more of the other, obviously. Simple, simple, simple. Apparently, I read the official reply to that question. It's because apparently you drop one. It's natural to drop one of the buns out of the pack. But of course that isn't true. It's so you buy more hot dogs. He did reply, sorry. I didn't see your answer. 1 second, please. The reply is asking me, from what I can see here. I can't see a reply, just say asking me. Unless you've changed the colour of your name, my friend. Unless you have changed the colour of your friend. This girl is asking... Oh, right, sorry, that was his... I thought that was a question to me. They're asking you. Yeah, but why? Why are they asking you to re-roll? Sorry, I'm fucking dumb sometimes. Why are they asking you to re-roll? Is there another hunter? Why are they doing that? I know a lot of you keep sort of PMing me, I'm getting my PMs now, about Paragon going 10-man. It's fine. They're not competitive anymore. I did we had a little mini conversation before the daily started about this, and I'm just so glad that Paragon didn't say they were still being competitive. They're essentially just dropping out of the World First race. That's all they're doing. They're going to play with some friends. Loads of guilds do it. It's no big deal. I'm just really glad they didn't say we're still going to be competitive and all this stuff. And they made such a fuss about Firelands, Ragnaros 10-man heroic. Remember, they proved it by taking an absurd class cell to go and do Firelands heroic on 10-man and then prove they could do it. I'm so glad they didn't say they were being competitive. Bug thumbs up to them though. I don't know anybody who's ever had an issue with anybody from Paragon, ever. From what I can tell, they're just fantastic guys. I've never spoke to any of them directly, so it's purely supposition and from hearsay, but apparently they're all awesome, so good luck to them. It's a shame that they had to drop out. Okay, all scrub. Oh, thank you very much. Loopy usually drops a hot dog, so he's even worse off. That's a shame. Did you reply again? Oh, you have another... They're asking me to switch. We have another hunter who I assume is better than you, I guess. Without... Or he's an officer or a friend of an officer or something along those lines. It doesn't matter. I would try them all out. It's the ultimate answer to your question without going too in-depth into this. You give me some choices. They obviously want the caster haste buff, which is fine. I would hope they have other casters to be buff. Well, they'll have healers, I guess, so that's okay. It's not a case of which one will be the most overpowered. All the classes are going to be balanced out anyway. I repeat this a lot. Don't worry about your DPS. It'll all be the same. Pick the one you enjoy the most. Simple as. None of them are going to be like a hunter. None of them are going to be like a hunter. They're just not. They don't work that way. Just try them out, man. Try them out and see which one you feels like the most fun. Druids are always cool. I always like druids. I'm not happy with Moonkin at the moment, but I haven't practiced enough. I logged on it and tried it out, and it was okay. It was fine. I don't like the current playstyle of it, but a lot of Moonkids in the chat are saying it's fine. I would just try out the different ones. Druids are always good though, because you can switch around, do different things. If you like multitasking, which you might not do as a hunter, in terms of playing other raid roles, hunters always seem to get the stick where they get to soak and absorb things. Not many of the Shadow Priests can do that. Shadow Priest can do that. Shadow Priest can also heal if you fancy healing. Druids have a bit more option there. And of course, Enhancement can go melee. Shamans obviously can go melee. There's a few different choices there. It depends on what you want to do with your other specs. Because a hunter has 3 DPS specs. Now you have hybrids that have different things. So what's your hybrid choice? That's the big question. Do you prefer to maybe be a tank? Then a druid's your option. Do you prefer to be melee? So now you've got a druid and a shaman option. Do you prefer to heal? Now you've got the shaman, druid and priest option. There's lots of different things you can do there. Think about what you want your off spec to be. Think about what your off spec to be. Alright, ballers, I've got another video to make for you guys today. And I need to fix the light in this room, obviously. So I apologise profusely for this. I'm trying to fix it so it's not a pain in the ass for you. Alright, guys. I'm sorry about it. Take it easy, ballers, and be good.